We really appreciate you taking the time to jump on with us and discuss our campaign strategy memo that we released this morning. If any of y'all have not yet received this memo, you can follow up with James Barcia at jamesb@ronpaul2012.com, and he'll make sure that you receive a copy of our memo. You're automatically placed on mute when you dial into this call as a participant. At the appropriate time to ask questions, you'll press *6 to unmute your phone. But I would ask everybody to please remain muted at this time. And if you have mistakenly become unmuted, you can hit *6 to remute yourself. So I'm just going to go ahead and walk through the memo that we released this morning, outlining our strategy and where we see ourselves in this campaign, and then we'll open up for questions in just a couple of minutes. Yesterday, Dr. Paul announced that our campaign is not going to spend resources in upcoming primary states. That decision was made largely based on financial decisions, but also because of the effectiveness of our delegate strategy moving forward, and what we've accomplished so far. Last weekend we won the state of Maine, and we see several other states' victories on the horizon. We laid out a strategy that would have put us in a very good position at a brokered convention. Unfortunately, other candidates were not able to maintain their strength, and only Ron and Governor Romney remain. We recognize that Governor Romney has what is very likely to be an insurmountable delegate lead, and our count has him just under 200 delegates away from locking down the nomination with bound delegates. And we acknowledge that we're very, very unlikely to be able to block that nomination. However, we believe that we still have very, very strong things that we can accomplish by continuing this campaign, and Dr. Paul is continuing our campaign. Dr. Paul is not suspending his campaign, and he is not dropping out of the race. Dr. Paul plans to, first of all, continue active campaigning. Just yesterday we were talking about other colleges that he could go and speak at. It's a passion of Dr. Paul's to speak to young people. As a matter of fact, on Ron's spring tour speaking to colleges and universities, he spoke to over 100,000 college students aggregately at the very many colleges and universities he spoke at. And we think that's a tremendous statement to his popularity and the popularity of his message amongst young people, something we point to moving forward as a defining message for Republicans and for independents as they strive to reach young people and define a new generation of leaders and voters. Second of all, he's going to continue to campaign at state conventions. He's heading to Minnesota this Friday and Saturday to do a series of events. Just yesterday, we agreed to speak at the Texas GOP convention on June 7th, and we're going to continue to look for speaking opportunities and event opportunities around party conventions moving forward. At the party conventions, we see multiple positive things that we can accomplish. First of all, we believe that we will win additional states. Minnesota looks to be a very strong potential to win this weekend and control and carry that delegation. We think that's a very strong positive thing to show that our campaign can win states. We have won a state. We think that we'll win more states before this campaign is over. Our campaign continues to take party leadership positions both at the state and national level. Two particular individuals I would point out would one be Ashley Rogers, the new national committee woman from Maine. She's 21 years old. We believe she is the youngest committee woman ever elected to the Republican Party. And you talk about looking at the future of the party, all you have to do is take a look at Ashley, and you've just got a snapshot of that right there. We think that's absolutely tremendous, and if anyone on this call is interested in speaking to Ashley for a story, James would be very happy to connect you with her, and she's just a wonderful interview. And again, you can get more information by contacting James B at ronpaul2012.com. Another example I would point to would be A.J. Spiker in Iowa, who is the new party chairman in Iowa. A.J. was not elected to be the party chairman because he's a Ron Paul supporter per se. He was elected because he's a young, dynamic leader with tremendous integrity and respect across the party. And he's out there working very, very hard and will no doubt do a tremendous job and be a very successful chairman. And we have multiple examples of that across the country where leaders that cut their teeth in the Ron Paul campaign, the Ron Paul movement, are assuming leadership roles in the party and are going to do yeoman's work moving forward. And we're going to continue to win these slots at state conventions moving forward. And finally, we look to grow our substantial delegate count. This is very relevant. Again, we think that we're going to win additional states, and we're going to do very well in locking down delegate positions for Dr. Paul in states where they will be bound to Governor Romney, but will still be supporters of Dr. Paul and supporters of the message. And we think that's very, very substantial, too. We believe we'll head into Tampa with several hundred bound delegates and hundreds more delegates and alternates that are bound to Governor Romney on the first ballot, and but are supporters of Dr. Paul and supporters of the message of real individual liberty and limited government. At the convention, it is our goal to roll into the convention again with a strong delegation. First of all, we believe that having hundreds of supporters there sends a very, very strong message that we're here, our supporters are here, we're positive, respectful. We are emphasizing decorum, and we are going to do everything in our power to make sure to work with our supporters to make sure that decorum and respect are the name of the game, that dominates our playbook. But we're going to respectfully show that our people are here and that we're the way of the future, and we're here to work with people, we're here to play ball, but we believe in very, very specific things, and that we're going to continue to fight for our ideas, and that moving forward, we're going to continue to become an even stronger voice in the party. There are also some other very positive things that we can do at the convention. First of all, we have been in contact with Governor Romney's campaign talking about platform issues, and first of all, I'd like to thank them for the respect that they've shown us in addressing these issues, and they have agreed to be helpful in moving forward the dialogue on several of these things. But we're going to be advancing through the platform process, and then at the convention, platform ideas on Fed transparency, Fed accountability, monetary policy reform, prohibitions on indefinite detention, and a plank on internet freedom, trying to establish the Republican Party as the party of market-based solutions to internet problems. And we think that's very, very positive, very important. Finally, we want our people to go and participate in the process to be able to vote on the rules for the next 4 years. And by creating a favorable rules environment, our people can set the stage for other liberty candidates at all different levels to be able to rise in the Republican Party, win elected positions, win leadership positions in the party, and begin to advance our movement and continue to advance our movement and our ideas. One other point I'd like to reemphasize is that at the various state conventions moving forward and the national convention in Tampa, we plan to work very, very hard. We're going to have a professional ID turnout program. We're going to continue to spend resources, move Dr. Paul around to speak. We're going to we're going to get after it really hard, but we're also going to emphasize decorum and respect. One thing that we learned or relearned this past weekend is that our supporters are going to get an excessive amount of blame for problems that arise in heated moments at conventions. And state conventions in particular are known for heated moments, and our supporters are going to get much more than they deserve when it comes to blame for any kind of problems. And so we're going to emphasize that our people really need to emphasize respect and civility, and they're going to be under a microscope, and I think that our people are going to be more than up to the challenge of that. So with all that said, I would again like to thank everybody for joining us, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the call for any questions. If you would like to ask a question, you'll please hit *6 to unmute your phone.
Muting canceled.
Identify the organization that you're representing.
Hi, Jesse. It's Sarah McCammon with Public Radio again. Just wondering, you've said that you think that, Romney has pretty much locked up the nomination. What happens in the fall? Do you think your supporters will get behind the Republican nominee?
I think Sarah, that's an excellent question. I think that is still up for grabs. I think that a lot of that is going to be determined by what plays out in the next several months, up through Tampa. I think that in a lot of ways the ball is in the court of the Republican Party and the court of Mitt Romney. We're coming forward, and we're bringing forward an attitude of respect, and we're also bringing forward some very specific things that we believe in. Our people want to be respected in return, and if our people are treated with respect, if their ideas are embraced and treated seriously and treated with respect, I think the Republican Party has a very good chance to pick up a substantial number of their votes. On the flip side, if they're treated, I guess, largely like they were in 2008, I think a lot of people are gonna stay home. A lot of people are gonna sit on their hands. So, just again to repeat, I think that is still very much up in play. I think a lot of that is going to be determined by what plays out in the next several months and through the National Convention in Tampa.
Hey, Jesse, this is Jackie Cassanders with USA Today. I just want to follow up on that. Hey, is there any point where Congressman Paul will endorse Mitt Romney?
At this point, that's still premature because Dr. Paul is still a candidate. I would never say never. I do not believe that is likely. But we don't deal in absolutes and close everything out. Dr. Paul is willing to listen and willing to have conversations and willing to enter anything with an open mind.
Hey, Jesse, Alex Pappas from the Daily Caller.
Hey, Alex.
On that topic of having an open mind, do you think any chance later on down the road that Dr. Paul would have a conversation with Gary Johnson about perhaps getting behind him and helping him out?
No, there's no chance of that.
Hey, Jesse, Anthony Terrell, NBC News.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey, man. So you said the platform you're going to try to influence is on the Fed, indefinite detention, and on internet freedom. What about foreign policy? That seemed to be a big topic for Dr. Paul in the campaign, and I'm surprised not to hear that foreign policy is included on this platform that Dr. Paul wants to influence in the Republican Party. Is that going to be something he's going to push?
We've talked about that, trying to bring forward a platform for. We're going to pursue something through the platform on constitutional war, declaring that only war is declared by the Congress. We do see the indefinite detention under the National Defense Authorization Act as being a foreign policy related item.
Hey, Jesse, this is Rosie Gray from BuzzFeed.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for doing the call. You said that Governor Romney had agreed to be helpful in moving forward the dialogue and several of the issues that you want on the platform. Can you go into specifics about how the Romney campaign has agreed to help out?
Oh, it's nothing too complicated. We've had a couple of conference calls And we've laid forward what we're going to be looking to do. They've agreed to take a look at some language and talk about what they could support and what they could get behind. The platform it's a little complicated. The party controls it, but the candidate has to own it. So there's a certain dynamic there where we need to work through the party, but we also have to out of respect we're going to be open with the Romney campaign about what we're talking to the party about, we're committed to doing that. We've always had a very civil, professional, genteel relationship with the Romney campaign. We've appreciated that. So, we're gonna let them know, what we're advancing and offer them the opportunity to comment on the language that they would be comfortable with.
Hey, Jeff, John Ward.
I'm sorry, John?
Yeah, John Ward here at the Huffington Post. Yeah, so you said that it's important that your ideas be treated seriously and with respect. Can you be a little bit more specific about what that means? Does that just mean the way in which they interact with you, or does it mean something tangible? And to follow on Anthony's point, why nothing on the sides of government or spending?
Spending is a very, very complicated issue to deal with in the platform. We've been told that the party is going to largely embrace Paul Ryan, the Ryan plan, which of course isn't as strong as we'd like, but it's a start. It's a dialogue in the right direction. The monetary issue is an extremely key issue to us. If we see that as a linchpin to everything. If we can't control the size and the rate that the monetary unit is increased or debased, then really no other problems can be solved. So we see that as a real linchpin to solving all of our problems. So that is the core issue at which we want to go after. We do think that emphasizing opposition to indefinite detention is a very, very important statement for the Republican Party to make. And then finally, I would also say that we see the internet as one of the big keys to all future innovation, and being able to insert something into the platform that says the Republican Party will be the party of market-based solutions rather than the party that treats the internet as a common good to be dispersed by the government like a utility is very, very important and does really speak to the size and scope of government.
Hey, Jesse.
LSNewsGroup.com out of Chicago. I'm covering a couple of Dr. Paul's campaign rallies in Madison and at the University of Illinois. A large influx of college students, the youth vote, seems to be around Congressman Paul. If he is not the GOP nominee and Governor Romney is, what is Paul's message to the youth vote? A lot of the youth vote, from me speaking to them, may not be interested in Governor Romney or President Obama. So what is Congressman Paul's message to the youth vote if he is not the GOP nominee?
Again, I believe that is still largely to be determined. I think you're right. I think both candidates face a problem with youth support. If the Republicans and Governor Romney really decide to rally behind a lot of Dr. Paul's ideals, then he's going to have a chance to excite them and pick some of them up. If they fail to do that, I think they're going to have a major problem with, both parties will have a major problem with youth turnout in the fall.
Hey, Jesse. I'm Alana Rocha with YN in Austin, Texas. Hey, Jesse.
How are you?
I'm good. I was calling to see, or wanting to see if this shift in the campaign focus will impact the congressman's role or speaking role at the convention in Tampa.
We have not discussed that yet. There have been no discussions about whether Ron would speak or not speak.
Hi, Jesse. Lawrence Sinclair,
Sinclair News here at CBS News. How's it going?
Hey, Brian. How are you?
I'm good. Are you guys, when you talk about rule changes that you're trying to vote in, can you explain to me exactly how you want to change the rules to benefit what you call liberty candidates? And then, is this something that would affect the presidential race in 2016, possibly for, say, Rand Paul?
Boy, it's too early to speculate about 2016 presidential races, and I'm not just saying that to be coy. We don't know where the environment is. There are a whole bunch of rather obscure, abstruse rules that we'd want to take a look at and will come up, and also probably some rules that will try to be pushed that we'd want to vote down. This is getting pretty deep in the weeds, and Brian, I'm not trying to duck your question, but I'd be happy to get into this with you offline. Partly, I'm not 100% equipped or prepared to dive real deep on that, and then also diving real deep on a conference call is just difficult. But again, I would be happy to dive into this more with you offline. All right, just in a nutshell, we want to do things that open up the party and prevent establishment people that benefit from the status quo from locking the party down. I think over the years, we've seen a slow progression towards locking the party down and benefiting the people that are already inside the tent rather than opening up the tent and letting people in. But that's very, very broad brushstrokes. And again, I'd be happy to dive deeper later.
Jesse, Dave Blackle from Slate Magazine. Quickly, you rolled out a Ron endorsement of Gary Johnson. Virgil Dude, who's a friend of Ron's in Congress, is also running for president. He rolled out that, and as part of the same question, I mean, Ron endorsed a clutch of third-party candidates at the end of the 2008 campaign. I mean, is he going to stay with the Republican Party and not endorse a third-party candidate definitively this time?
It's too early to say anything definitively. I'd say it's extremely unlikely he'd endorse outside of the Republican Party. But again, there's still some things to be determined here. If he and his supporters, I mean, he doesn't care about how he's personally treated very much. But if his supporters are treated very poorly, that could push him to do some different things. At this point in time, I'd say that's extremely unlikely.
So, Jesse, Brian Doherty here. As you know, yesterday's announcement was universally interpreted as Ron Paul drops out of the race. Were you anticipating that reaction, and what was your purpose in making yesterday's announcement?
I dispute a little that it was universally interpreted. Some people got it right, some people didn't. Probably a few more got it wrong than got it right, but I wasn't. I wish I could say I was completely surprised. I was perhaps a little frustrated. It is what it is, but then again, I am grateful to everybody that is on this call today and is, hopefully going to get into the news cycle, what we've discussed and talked about today. So, it's some of the headlines about how he totally dropped out were frustrating, but we're working to clarify that here.
Hey, Jesse, Lisa from the Detroit Free Press. It's Lisa from CNN. I'm sorry if I missed this. Can you go over how many delegates how many of your supporters have won delegate spots?
We don't give our exact delegate count, but at this point in time, we believe we have over 100 bound delegates and over 200 delegates that are bound to Romney but are our supporters. We believe we can substantially grow those numbers, and that's not including alternates.
Thanks, Jesse. It's Kathy Gray with the Detroit Free Press. With the campaign being in Minnesota this weekend, Michigan's convention is this weekend also. Any plans to have any presence here?
No, we do not plan to go to Michigan. I think our campaign is not officially backing any action at the Michigan convention, although I do think we have a good group of grassroots supporters that are going to be attending and hopefully being very effective while, again, keeping a good level of decorum and professionalism.
Okay, thanks. Jesse, this is Grace Weiler from Business Insider.
Hey, Grace.
Hey, are you guys doing anything to make sure that your supporters don't feel abandoned by your decision to stop campaigning? And as a follow-up, what are your fundraising expectations going forward and for your May 17th money bomb?
Well, our expectations for our May 17th money bomb are not particularly high. We have not promoted or pushed it at all yet. We're gonna make a push and an appeal, very frankly, and lay out, as we've been trying to lay out for the past month, that our focus is going to be on conventions, and that we do need to continue to fund our convention and delegate efforts. Our fundraising has remained very strong. We've had our mail program and our internet program has continued to keep the cash in the coffers that we need to continue to operate our program, and we're very, very grateful for that. I hope that by being so open and laying out our strategy as we did today in this memo that we shared with the press, and again, in a slightly different format with our entire supporter list, we hope that keeps our supporters from feeling abandoned. That was one thing that was weighed very heavily on Dr. Paul as he was making the decision to announce that he was backing off on primary states on Monday. Was we do hear from so many wonderful people in New Mexico and New Jersey and Texas and California about their desire to keep on working, and that was why part of his message on Monday was letting them know that the campaign is continuing to go on. I'm going to continue to work, and we can continue to accomplish some great things, and I encourage you to continue to work very hard on the primaries in your states at the grassroots level, particularly to back the local candidates and state candidates that are running and that deserve and need your help.
Jesse, Alana wrote again from YNN. Jesse, I was curious, interviewing some of the young Republicans on the University of Texas campus a few weeks back, they were planning a May 19th rally on the campus, expecting as many as 10,000 people. And just curious, with Dr. Paul's focus on Minnesota this weekend, if that was safe to assume, then he would not be on the UT campus this weekend.
No, he won't be. I think we let them know he couldn't make it a couple weeks ago.
Thank you.
This is Ben from KUT in Austin. Do y'all have any specific goals for the Republican convention down here in Texas? Number of delegates selected, or passage of stuff on the committee there?
No, we don't have any specific goals. I believe we'll have more than 30% of the delegates at the state convention will be supporters of Dr. Paul, and I think our goals are the same. We want people to go. We want people to be, again, respectful. I may sound like a broken record to y'all, but we just can't emphasize that enough. That we want a professional decorum and respect. I know that Dr. Paul is going to go, and he's going to be speaking on the 7th on the main floor. He's going to be giving a speech addressing how we really balance the budget and bring Republicans and all Americans together behind that. And so, the goals are what they always are. A strong presence. We want to pass as many of our people as we can through to the national convention. We want them to run for positions within the party. And I know that there's also been a real groundswell in Texas passing a bunch of really good constitutional and liberty potential planks. So hopefully some of those have bubbled up to the state level and they can vote on them.
Hey, Jesse, was it hard to get him on the convention list there? I don't think he was there in 2008.
No, he was not there in 2008. That's correct.
Hey, Jesse, this is Laura Myers with the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hey, Laura.
Hey, a quick question, just doubling back to the endorsement issue. Is there any concern? You are now muted. That Mitt Romney cannot win the White House. Does he think that Romney can still beat Obama, or are you guys giving up on the White House for 2012?
I think Mitt Romney can do. It would help Mitt Romney to earn Dr. Paul's endorsement. But Mitt Romney's running a very strong campaign himself. So that
muting canceled.
Calculus, Dr. Paul's calculus, I think are going to be what his supporters want and how they're received and embraced. Dr. Paul's going to listen to his supporters and what they want and listen to his own heart on where his endorsement falls.
Jesse, real quick, what other states, you said you think you can get a majority in Minnesota. Where else do you think you might be able to do that?
Possibly Washington State, possibly Missouri, and possibly Louisiana.
not Iowa?
Oh, yeah, Iowa too. I'm sorry. I missed that one.
Hey, Jesse, this is Rosie Gray again.
Hey, Rosie.
It seems as though you've emphasized a lot how you want your supporters to be respectful and well-behaved at the convention. How concerned are you that they won't be?
I am not concerned because of all the work that we're committed to putting in and because I just know how good and decent our supporters are. I think that they're getting it, that they're getting a hyper amount of attention and scrutiny, and that they're going to bear an excessive amount of blame for problems. So I am very confident that there will be no problem. First of all, because of the inherent decency of our supporters, and then also because of our commitment and Dr. Paul's commitment to working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Hey, Jesse. Jason Volek, ABC News.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, I'm curious what role Rand Paul will play in the next 6 months of the campaign.
I don't own Rand anymore. I'm no longer his campaign manager. I know that Rand has said that he will support the Republican nominee, and I believe now it's Rand. Rand will need to decide if and when the time is right, and I think then the ball will be in the Romney campaign's court to begin to reach out and discuss how they want to handle getting Rand on board.
Jesse, Lawrence Sinclair, Sinclair News.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hey, Jesse, curious. I've had some of Ron Paul's supporters on our radio program, and there's some questions about the RNC's endorsement of Mitt Romney and doing joint fundraising events with Romney while Paul is still a candidate. Has that affected your fundraising and your support at all?
No, it has not. As a matter of fact, the RNC offered us the opportunity to set up a joint fundraising committee as well. We opted not to set one up, but the option was there for us. The RNC asked us probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I issued a statement about it over the weekend to clarify things with folks. But they asked us if we were comfortable with them being able to build up the RNC victory program that will, be the ground weapon for Republicans in key states in the fall. And we gave our blessing for them to go ahead and move forward with doing that, with the mutual understanding that if Dr. Paul were to become the nominee, the victory program would be there 100% to support Dr. Paul, and that was agreed upon, and so we have no problem with them going ahead and building up the victory operation.
One more follow-up. As far as you saying that you're wanting to emphasize respect and decorum, you've got a large group named Combat Veterans for Paul who plan to go in force into Tampa. And their representative said that they intend to make their presence known at the convention. Are you trying to jump out ahead of these groups that you think that might actually cause the establishment to look at Paul in a different light?
Well, I don't have very much information about that. Free people are able to do what free people can, and that's what makes America so great. So any group that wants to go ahead and march or whatever they want to do, more power to them. We're only accountable and responsible for the folks that are going to be Paul delegates on the floor of the convention, and we're committed to working with them to make sure that things are done with professionalism and decorum.
Thank you.
Jesse, Grace Weiler from Business Insider again. Just one quick follow-up to that. Why turn down the RNC's offer to do joint fundraising? Wouldn't that go with the idea of, taking over the Republican Party?
It was a calculated decision that it didn't gain us a whole heck of a lot. I can run down with you offline how a JFC works, but it basically allows us to bank up money that could be used for the general election in an account and allow our people that have already maxed out to us to again give more that could be banked up. We just didn't calculate that it was worthwhile for us to do. It's not rocket science. It's a little tricky, but I'd be happy to walk through that with you offline.
Thanks.
All right, folks, it sounds like the calls the questions are really starting to slow up, and you've been hearing me yak for over half an hour now, so I'm going to go ahead and make maybe last call on questions. Last call going once, going twice. All right, thank you very, very much to everybody that's participated. For any further follow-up information, you feel free to email me or email our National Press Secretary, James Barcia, jamesb@ronpaul2012.com. Also, Gary Howard, our Communications Director, Gary H. at ronpaul2012.com. We're so grateful for everybody participating, and we look forward to working with you in the future.